Hey, what's up, guys? It's GSR here. So, welcome to understanding how not to be predictable. Now, like I said before, everybody's gonna have their habits and stuff like that, so it's inevitable for people to do kind of the same thing over and over again. Um, but the key thing to take of note from this video is that if you're not adapting, meaning like you're not realizing that the opponent knows about the combo string or the normal that you keep using, and you're not changing it up and making it difficult for them to pinpoint what you're going to do next, it can make it very easy for the opponent to beat you, especially if they've labbed that situation. They can and they basically understand, your options and their options and what they can and can't do in that particular matchup, depending on what characters that you guys pick. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have Shao Kahn go for his 4-3-4 1+3 combo string, right? So with the 4-3-4, it's a decent stagger. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest stagger in the world, but it's one of Shao Kahn's best staggers, including the standing one and stuff like that, and the back two. So he can stagger this a bit, right? Especially if you can time his recovery on that. So say for example, the Shao Kahn player keeps walking up and they just keep doing this, right? They just keep doing that. Now does she have a 7 frame? Okay. So he keeps doing this, right? The Shao Kahn player, right? The problem is that I realized very quickly, like, okay, he keeps staggering this move. So you can down one him, right? Just like that, or you can go for a standing normal that is 7 frames, and you can get a punish on him. So say for example, the opponent comes back and they do it again. You punish them again the same way. So if the player is not willing to adapt and they're not realizing that you just punished their, Shao Kahn's 4-3, then the opponent is completely oblivious at this point. Like, they're not aware that you know about this, okay? And you need to understand what the opponent knows and stuff like that. That's the reason why, like, if you look at matches and stuff like that, you'll see some people filling each other out, seeing what they know, seeing what they don't know, just getting a feel for how the player on the opposing side is using their character, seeing if they know about the matchup and stuff in there. And high level players do this as well. They tend to fill themselves out. You know what I mean? They fill out the other player. They're just like, okay, let's see what you know. Let's see what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if you know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, the Shao Kahn player gets hit, and then the Shao Kahn player adapts. So all of a sudden, the Shao Kahn player decides to, go for the second hit, right? And you're sitting here and you're responding with the down one. Now, also, the player that's defending can also be very predictable as well, because of the fact that your response is always a standing one, where you're like doing this and stuff like that. And if you keep doing this where you're trying to respond, right, because you think he's going to keep going for the 4-3, I mean, you're gonna keep getting hit. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta keep that in mind. Now, like I said, as a defending player, you can also be predictable. It's not just on offense. So if you're responding with like a down one every single time, the appropriate response for Shao Kahn would be to commit into the second hit of his 4-3-4, or he could hit you with a special move. So if you're always doing a down one because you're always anticipating the 4-3, this can cause certain complications on your side, which could also benefit the player on the opposing side, right? Now, there is a thing called conditioning, so they could be conditioning you to get, how should I put it? They're conditioning you to, getting used to seeing that 4-3 all the time, and then they realize, like, okay, he knows about it, so I'll do it again to see if he responds again, see if he's anticipating that. And then all of a sudden you get hit, you know what I'm saying? You end up getting hit with the second hit. So that can fuck your brain up, and it can be like, oh shit, he really just did that to me, right? So we're going to continue on from there, right? Say for example, like I said, the Shao Kahn player is like, okay, bet. I just caught on to what you just did, right? So they adapt it. So now they changed it up, and now it makes it difficult for you to pinpoint, is he going to stagger that or is he going to commit? However, you have to keep in mind, if he just leaves it alone like that, he's -9 on block, so he can technically be punished. You know what I'm saying? Obviously with a 7-frame normal or faster, or 8-frame normal, right? And you can get some form of a punish, and you get the idea, right? Now, Another thing is that the defendant player has to understand the opponent's combo string on the opposing side, and the opponent that is using that character has to also understand their own combo string. They need to understand what they can and cannot do in this particular matchup. Okay, can I backdash? So like what I'll do, right, before I go back to Shao Kahn and Melina, right? What I'll do is I'll show you an example. And we'll go with the homie Fujin. That's my nigga. I should use him, but it's you know, I don't know. That's my nigga right there. One of my favorite characters, including Nightwolf. But anyway, so Fujin has access to this forward dash and back dash. And if you notice, like on startup, it's like really fucking quick. And then obviously like you can actually wave dash and shit like that, which I don't feel like wave dashing right now, so forgive me for these ugly wave dashes or whatever, but I don't feel like wave dashing. So Fujin has a 1-2 and a 1-1 that's both -4 on block, as you can clearly see right here. So they create the same spacing situation to a certain degree. So there's a little bit of space here. So the issue that the opponent's going to face is that Fujin can walk out of the range of their short range normals that normally would reach him if he was just to stay right there and block. So they might have to check Fujin basically by going for like some kind of mid that can reach Fujin, because Fujin might neutral duck sometimes and stuff like that. So it's kind of a spacing situation, but it's not, because there's other things that can happen here, even though he is spacing you out a bit, right? So like I'll show like this example real quick. So I'll go for like his 1-2, and then I'll just walk backwards with him. So if I go for my 1-1, he can't just walk backwards. You see what I'm saying? So let me make sure I did that right. Hold backwards. Okay. Maybe he can. Oh yeah, okay, I mistimed it then. I didn't actually hold back. So as you can clearly see, he can just walk out of the range of Nightwolf standing 1. Standing 2 is non-existent. You see what I'm saying? Down 1, he's not going anywhere. Down 3, he's not going anywhere. Down 4, he's not going anywhere. Obviously back 1, he's not going anywhere. But why would you do that at this range? Especially when he's -4 on block. That's really reckless. Forward 2, I can catch him. So you see what's going on here, right? Here's the problem, right? And I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I'm gonna get back to what I'm talking about. Here's the problem. This also plays in a part, or it plays a part in you being predictable. Say for example, you're always walking backwards as Fujin, right? Now, if I try to go for a reversal throw, it actually does not work, right? So hold on. Reversal, nigga. What the hell? I guess. There we go. So if I crouch block, right, as you can clearly see, same situation occurs. What if I go for my back 3? Doesn't work. Doesn't have enough range to reach him. That doesn't work. So let's see here. So we tried basically a lot of options here. Nothing's really working except for, you know, pokes. What if I crouch block? Crouch block or stand block and then crouch block doesn't work. Crouch block and the stand block doesn't work. All the way crouch block doesn't work. So there's different types of blocking, because it can reduce the pushback, which creates a spacing situation. I think it could possibly reduce the block stun too, if I'm not mistaken. But as you can clearly see, we can't really reach him, or you know, with certain normals, right? But we can reach him with these further reaching normals. Now, Fujin has a 7-frame standing 1 that's 7 frames, and he is -4 on block last time I checked. So if you do 7 plus -4, that's 8, 9, 10, 11. So he has an 11-frame standing 1. So if we were to look at Nightwolf's advancing normals, which can technically be used as pokes, at least certain ones would range. This is 13 frames. So this is one of Nightwolf's, if not Nightwolf's, best advancing tool in terms of his normals, right? It's a really good whiff punisher to a certain degree as well, right? It doesn't have the craziest amounts of range, but it has enough range to kind of get the job done if your reaction time is good and you've labbed the situation, or that situation just in general, right? So say for example, Fujin goes for the 1-2. So hold on. What was I about to show you guys? Oh yeah. I shouldn't show you guys that just yet. Okay, so Fujin knows for a fact that your certain normals, if the player is actually labbing, they know that certain normals will work if they try to walk backwards. But if they know you're gonna try and reversal throw them, or if they know that you're trying to go for like the standing one or standing two, which they don't reach, including the back three, it you know what's gonna happen. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna neutral crouch real quick. So if you look, Fujin's standing up right here and then he's crouching. So your hurt box kind of expands as well. So hold on. See how like I'm not able to reach Fujin? And he's just sitting there. See that? Like I can't reach him with these, right? Can't reach him with that either. So that it doesn't even matter, right? So he can neutral crouch my high, but he doesn't necessarily have to, because he just sit right there. And then on top of that, I'm not reaching him. So anyway, so Fujin backdashes, right? Because he's testing out his options here, right? I can counter him. Now, the unfortunate part is that I don't know what the startup time is of the backdash and the forward dash and like the recovery state of it. So you would basically just have to lab and you would have to figure out, okay, this is a counter. So he can't block that. So now I can actually go for a combo on him, right? So keep that in mind, right? Unfortunately, they don't have that. So as you can clearly see, that works. That does not work. So you see what just happened here, right? So Fujin, right? Fujin, how should I put it? If Fujin thinks you're gonna do that, he could flawless block you. And then you could also test out to see if, you know, if you can stop the Fujin player from flawless blocking you somehow, some way. Obviously, you know, an instant dash forwards into a throw, whatever. But the if Fujin decides to just sit there and stay stationary and block because he thinks you're going to go for the forward 1-2 because he's low on resources or he doesn't want to use his resources or you know he's kind of scared or whatever, then obviously the Fujin player will stay stationary just like that, where you know he just sits there and blocks, right? So if the Fujin player sits here, right, and decides to sit here and block like this, right, because they think you're going to go for this, right? This allows Nightwolf to actually do shit like this at close range engagements if you think that the Fujin player is going to respect, right? And this is really good stagger, so this opens up mini doors for Nightwolf. This allows him to do something like that to Fujin. He can actually go for that if he wanted to. That's kind of crazy. Fujin's blocking, and he actually was still avoiding that arrow. That's kind of fucked up. But anyway, you see where I'm going with that, right? So if Fujin thinks that you're going to go for the back one or the forward one, he could technically go for an Abare and he can stop all of this, right? But you're gonna notice something, right? Because there's a lot of options that you can do on the defensive side as well. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna have him backdash. So we know that the forward 1-2 or the forward one can beat this out. He can beat out my back one if I think he's just gonna sit there and block. And as you can clearly see, right, Fujin player ain't having none of that shit. And he can whiff punish me for this, right? So that's not good, especially if the reaction time is on point and they've practiced this long enough. If I go for a down one that acts as a counter, down three that acts as a counter, down four, remember down four caught him when he was walking backwards, but now it's different. But you're not going to be going for the down four anyway with Nightwolf, not like that anyway. So if I go for the forward 1-2, this is another thing about blocking, right? See the difference? However, if I stand up, see how closer he is to me? See where he is right there? Now watch this. See the spacing right there? So blocking a certain way changes the situation, right? If I crouch block, stand block, see that? I'm trying to hit him and it's not working. What if I stand block and then crouch block? It works. So I would have to stand up like this and punish him this way. I would have to stand up, crouch block if I think, but see, there's no reason to like, in this situation, if Fujin had access to a low to condition you to block low, that would be kind of trippy because then now he can kind of manipulate that. But he has other things that he can do to kind of get you to block a certain way, possibly. But in this situation, you would want to stand up against Fujin, right? If I crouch block like this, as you can clearly see, he can still avoid the the normal right here, which is the back one, right? You see what I'm saying? So if I stand block, he can whip punish that back one. If I go for the forward two, I mean, you're asking to get fucking destroyed here. The only reason why you would probably do that that forward two is because you believe that you've conditioned the opponent to respect you. But if you're going against a more experienced opponent and you haven't conditioned them to respect you,
let's just say there's going to be a lot of backdashing. There might be some Abari attempts if they know about Abari, because the opponent on the offensive side could just stay stationary, and if they believe you're going to go for these certain type of options, they can make it very difficult for you to go for these slower normals. So let's see here. Forward two doesn't work. We know back three doesn't work. If I crouch block like this, it doesn't work. Crouch block and then stand block doesn't work. Stand block and then crouch block. As you can clearly see, it's just not working, right? Forward two is not working if I stand block. If I stand block and then crouch block, not working. Crouch block, not working. Crouch block and then stand block, not working, right? So he can avoid the back one. He can avoid this option. He can avoid that option. So stand block. So hold on. I can down one him like that. I can hit him with that. Now the down four does not work. Now you need to test out whether or not you can do the down one right here. As you can clearly see, it's not working. Down three is the option to stop him from backdashing. See that? How is it that the down one is not working all of a sudden? Pay attention to the way you block. Okay, I cannot stress that point enough. You need to be labbing these situations. That's the reason why when you guys see me in a live video, you see me labbing, and then you guys are wondering why the hell I know the shit that I know, because I'm labbing and I'm figuring out every possible option. What can and can you not do in this particular situation? That's the question you should be asking. Can I poke? Can I jump? Can I do this? Can I grab him? Can I go for a reversal throw? You gotta check out a whole bunch of shit. You understand what I'm saying? And it takes time. That's the reason why players like Ninja Killer and Sonic Fox are so good, and other players like Rewind and Scar, because these people take the time and they lab the situations extensively before they give an opinion on whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm gonna continue on. So as you can clearly see, right, the option stand blocking is this option. If I crouch block, I cannot hit him. Now, keep in mind, I have this. But you also have to keep in mind that Fujin can go for an Abari attempt and he can stop me from doing that situation, that right there. Even though it's a reversal, which actually would come out at 11 frames now that I think about it, because, when you do a reversal with a special move or like a throw in this game, and other interesting fighting games, by the way, it'll come out a frame faster, which I made a video proving my point on that. I might re-upload it so that way you guys can understand what I'm talking about reversals and stuff like that. But this comes out a frame faster, so we might trade and Fujin might not even make it with that one. But if I crouch block like this could be a really good option for Nightwolf. Reason why is because if I go for the forward one, as you can clearly see, Fujin can easily back that. If I go for the back two, or the back one, excuse me. I said fucking, what the fuck am I talking about? So the forward one and the back two when you crouch block is not working. Even if you crouch block and stand block, it's not working. If you crouch block and stand block, as you can clearly see, it's not working, right? So there you go, right? Down one is non-existent in this situation, as you can clearly see. Option is down three, which is a safer option to a certain degree, but you also have to figure out, can Fujin stop you from doing that? Which he could more than likely block, or he could flawless block you. I don't know if he'll be able to hop, though. He might get anti-aired, right? So you got to test out those options as well, right? So I'm just putting some of this shit into this video, right? What else am I going to show you guys here with this situation? What else? Oh yeah, Rhino Charge, right? I already showed that. So I can hit him with that, which is a common, thing to do for Nightwolf, because this is really good for spacing situations. And it's 11 frames. And when it goes for a reversal, it comes out at 11 frames. So that's actually fantastic. So we know if we stand block, we can hit him with this. This is our go-to option. We know if we crouch block, he basically denies a lot of our advancing pools, right? Except for the Rhino Charge and the down three. Now, you can try out your Fatal Blow. Doesn't work. Keep in mind, Fatal Blow is 17 frames, so that's relatively on the slow side. So as you can clearly see, it's not working. Okay, now this is where things get kind of interesting. Say, for example, the Fujin player takes it upon himself to go for the Abari attempt. This is when things get real spicy, right? So then you go for the forward one because you think he's going to backdash, right? And say goodbye to your face. The reason why, here's the thing. this is all a mind game. At the end of the day, this is a mind game, but this is also something that you need to lab. It's not just a mind game because you need to understand what you can and cannot do when it comes to Fujin going for the 1-1 or the 1-2. This is incredibly important to understand. And you also want to test out the 1-1 situation with Fujin as well, because you never know. It's all a mind game, and this is also tying in to you being predictable. If Fujin is continuously backdashing, right, every time he goes for the 1-2, you all should already know what your response is. You know that you can combo him with the forward 1-2 if you are stand blocking or if you stand block and then crouch block. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he might have certain special moves that can push you away or something like that, so you might have to crouch block after you stand block when he goes for like the 1-2, because he might stagger the standing one or something like that. You don't know, right? So if he's always going for the 1-2 and he backdashes, you know what you can do as Nightwolf. You can forward 1 to him, and then you know what can reach and what can't reach when it comes to that particular situation. So there's just many different layers to this as well. So right here, right, he knows that you're going to go for the forward 1-2. Now you have to deal with that. See what I'm saying? Now the offensive player has to also understand, okay, well, the opponent is standing up. And this is another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're playing offensively, is pay attention to the way that the opponent is blocking, because certain normals might not even work, and then certain other normals might work. And this is what you need to test out when you are labbing. And I'm only teaching you guys this is because of Mortal Kombat 12, and also because I want to help you guys if you guys are trying to get better and you're trying to understand things a lot better and stuff like that. So hopefully this is helping you guys. So what can we do here? So we can actually create, we can create new neutral ground just like this, right? And as you can clearly see, the Fujin player has absolutely no fucking idea that we can create new neutral ground, especially if they're not experienced. Also, another thing is, if you're going for the Abari attempt, I can just neutral crouch and KB you instantly. And as you can clearly see, crushing blows is off, right? So you can back up like this and make him whiff, right? Now you want to lab this, and as you can clearly see, you can, you can go for your combo and shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Or you could just, you could just wait and then go for a bigger punish. So you can look at his recovery as well, especially if they commit. And as you can clearly see, you can go for your combo, whatever the hell that may be, and you can punish the Fuji player. Now, they have the ability to do proximity OS and shit like that. I already told you guys how I feel about it. I don't really like it. I feel like the players should have to think on their own and not depend on something like that that can save them. That's just my personal opinion. Other people may feel differently about this or get offended. It is what it is, but it is very possible for the opponent to go for a proximity OS, which, if you guys don't know what that is, you should just look it up, or you can look it up on my on my YouTube channel, where I talked about what a proximity OS is. I actually talked about it because I made a video where I said something in the title like, this is why I don't like option selects, or why I don't like option selects. Yeah, that's what I said. So you guys can check that out if you want. But he could possibly do that, and that can kind of cause complications as well. So you might want to be careful with that situation. So, because they can buffer a certain special move, it just, there's a situation with that as well. But as you can clearly see, we can just walk backwards and stuff like that. So we can get out of the range of that. Now, because Fujin is whiffing the first hit, so I'll show you. He's whiffing the first hit, right? Because there's space between us. So this actually unlocks the ability for you to do this, right? You can just immediately do that. You can also interrupt Fujin, because Fujin's startup time is no longer 7 frames if you do the math correctly. But see, here's the problem. He can just walk backwards and whiff punish you. He could backdash and whiff punish you. That's another option. A lot of Fujin players typically do that anyway, because it destroys certain options the player has. So you have to keep that in mind as well. But Fujin is, if you're standing up, the Abari attempt is a possibility here, because the Fujin player is going to realize, like, okay, well, I can't go anywhere if I try to backdash. Even if I walk backwards, I have no choice but to block here. So what are my other options defensively? I can either flawless block, or I can go for an Abari attempt, or I can just sit there and block and just accept what happens next. Problem with them trying to flawless block you is the fact that they have to guess on whether or not you're going to go for the forward one. You understand what I'm saying? Because you could throw them. You understand what I'm saying? Um, and they if they read that you're trying to go for a throw, they might neutral duck and they might try to go for a down two. This sets up the forward two with Night Wolf. You understand what I'm saying? So they gotta pay attention to that shit as well as the offensive player because they're gonna be put into a defensive state. Because in a sense, even though they're playing offensively, after like their minus on block, they're technically the ones that have to defend to a certain degree. Even though you are safe, there are situations like this that can occur. Um, so what else is there? Um, fuck. Shit. Y'all gonna learn some shit today. Y'all gonna learn today. I can promise you that. Um, let's see here. So Fujin can stop Night Wolf's forward 1-2 because Night Wolf's forward 1 is 13 frames on startup. The only way I can stop Fujin from backing up or backdashing just in general, where I can get a counter, and the only normal that's working technically is the forward 1-2. You could go for pokes, but obviously you're gonna want to go for damage. So the only way that my forward 1-2 works is if I'm stand blocking or if I stand block and crouch block. If I crouch block completely, it won't work. If I crouch block and stand block, it won't work because the spacing increased a little bit. So this gives Fujin enough time to escape with his backdash and create new neutral ground to where he could more than likely whiff punish me. But if the Fujin player, and like I said before, you need to pay attention to if you've labbed the situation, you need to pay attention to the opponent stand blocking or crouch blocking, or they block a certain way. You'll see it with high level players; they'll block a certain way, and it'll reduce the pushback or a little bit of the block stun and stuff like that, and they can reach the opponent with that particular normal. Now it's up to the opponent that did was doing the offensive stuff. It's up to them to figure out, okay, what are they going to do right here? Because technically, the player that is minus on block, um, after they attack you, they are the ones that technically have to defend, but they don't necessarily have to because you have these type of options here presented in front of you. So it's like I said, and also being predictable plays a huge part in this as well, because if you've labbed the situation and you figured out, okay, well, the Fuji player always backdashes every single time, so he doesn't do anything different or nothing like that. Guess what? You know what you should be doing because the player's not adapting and not understanding, like, okay, this motherfucker just did that to me, right? So it's just a long list of things, right? So I'm gonna speed this up because I need to finish this video. I got shit I got to do. So there's more to this situation, but let's see here. The Fujin player goes for the 1-2, right? And the Fujin player notices that the Fujin player notices that you backdashed, right? Or like you're walking backwards. Problem with you doing that is, did you see what I just did there? I walked backwards because I was anticipating the 1-1, right? Because I'm believing, since I'm stand blocking, I'm believing that he's trying to hit me with an Abari attempt to prevent me from going for my forward 1-2, right? Which is going to check him if he tries to walk backwards to whiff punish me because he's trying to whiff certain normals that I have access to. So what are you doing when you're walking backwards or you're walking in the game? Exactly. You have to let go of the block button and you're not blocking anymore, right? Now, if I backdash, he will whiff, but you need to pay attention to his startup time. So his back one, right, is 13 frames, and then the second hit is 10 frames. So you need to keep that in mind, right? So you can go for a normal that's faster. You obviously want to go for a normal that has range, and you can obviously go for like a reversal counter, and you can kind of, get your shit out a lot faster than him. So you need to keep that in mind as well. So there's that, right? There's some other stuff that can happen here as well, but you kind of see like where I'm going with this. I could tell you guys a whole bunch of shit. I might make videos like this just to show you guys some more of this, if you guys would like to see that. Um, let's see here. There's like I'm probably gonna show you one more situation here. Also, this is a cycle. Like Fujin could technically backdash if he believes that I'm gonna go for like my 1-1 or like my back three. You understand what I'm saying? Like he could just backdash. Now, We're gonna go back to Melina, and then Shao Kahn, and we're gonna finish up where we left off at. I just felt like telling you guys that because you don't have to stay stationary. There's a deeper meaning behind this shit, and a lot of players surprisingly don't know this. But like, if I was to actually try, like, you know, it would change some shit. You guys would see some shit. You'd be like, oh, this nigga knows the shit. But uh anyway, where was I already talked about the 4-3 stagger, if they're not adapting, blah blah blah. 4-3-4. Okay, so the 4-3-4, right? Obviously can be punished if he just leaves it alone like that. So if he was just to leave it alone like this, obviously he can get punished. But I can flawless block him, and I can go for like an up two or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to, because basically every character can punish this situation. You can actually stop Shao Kahn from committing into the other mix-up options that he has access to, where he can get a mix-up basically. So if the Shao Kahn player goes for this, thinking that you're gonna go for the down one, right? You can actually flawless block him, right? And this will actually stop him, and then you can actually go for, hold on. Is there spacing there? Okay, yeah. Okay, so she can still punish it. I just have to, you know, time it a lot faster, because there's not that much blockstone on it, I think. Yeah, there's not that much blockstone on it. And then, you know, she can go for like whatever combo that she wants, and you kind of get the idea, right? So the Shao Kahn player, if they realize that you know about this, they need to change it up a bit. They know that there's a flawless block gap in their combo string, right? So if they're being ignorant to the fact that they have a flawless block gap in their combo string, this is going to cause a problem for the offensive player, because you keep doing that and you're not understanding that the opponent knows about it. So if you go against a more experienced Shao Kahn player and they realize like, okay, he just punished my 4-3. Okay, I just punished his down one attempt, or his attempt to counter me or punish me whenever I go for the 4-3. And then, okay, well, they just flawless block me, but then you don't respond by canceling out their ability to flawless block you, such as using this, right? This is the reason why labbing this and turning this on right here is important, right? So now you can create that brick wall, right? To where like, okay, well, try to flawless block me now. And then when I try to flawless block Shao Kahn, I'll just go for this. I can't do it. You see what I'm saying? Like I can't flawless block it, because I'm anticipating the second hit of the 4-3-4, and I'm trying to flawless block him. And what do you do when you flawless block? You let go of block, and then you time it, and then you press the button, right? So as you can clearly see, right, now I have some. Now he's getting me to think. Okay, is he gonna stagger? Okay, is he gonna commit into the special move after the 4-3 to check me to see if I'm gonna flawless block? Is he gonna commit into the second hit? Right now, what if he commits into the final hit and shit like that? Obviously, if you flawless block him, right after, if he gets you to respect. Now, this is when Shao Kahn can get you to respect, because you're afraid of him canceling into the special move. You understand what I'm saying? This allows him to freely do the 4-3-4, because now you're respecting this option. Because now you're afraid. Now you're actually afraid. Now you don't want to get hit by that. Now he's conditioning you to respect that to a certain degree, if they can condition you to respect that, right? So now it's time for Mix Up City, right? You see what I'm saying? Now keep in mind, obviously, when you flawless block, he can't actually go for it. You understand what I'm saying? So he can't go for it. So I mean, that's kind of unfortunate, but because other characters can do that, but it is what it is. But as you can clearly see, he can't actually go for it if you flawless block it. But because he conditioned you, or he's getting you to respect the idea that he can cancel into a special move where he creates a brick wall where it's making it difficult for you to flawless block him, and he's getting your brain to work. You understand what I'm saying? The player's getting your brain to work. Now he can commit into the string a little bit more freely, but he still has to stay in the pocket, meaning like he still has to understand that there's still a mind game with that. There's still a situation with that. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in mind as the defending player and the offensive player. It's not just on the defending side, it's on the offensive side as well. So now you got to worry about the mix-up, right? So now you see, okay, well, he has a throw. Okay, and then he has this. So now you got to think to yourself, shit, is he gonna go for the throw? Nope, he didn't do that. He hit me with this, right? Because now you're in mix-up city. Either one, you getting launched or you're getting side switched, and you're gonna take some form of damage. How much damage does he get anyway? Didn't they nerf that a little bit? They did. I don't know why they did that to Shao Kahn. I feel so bad for you. That damage was perfectly fine for Shao Kahn, I think, because they didn't give him the ability to keep you on the same side. If they had made it to where he can keep you on the same side, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But uh, damn, that's fucked up. He used to do 19%. Now that nigga's doing 13. Oh shit. Hey, damn, bro. They did my nigga Shao Kahn dirty, boy. But anyway, back to the main point. So now the Shao Kahn player is like, okay, well, I got you conditioned to a certain degree, so now I can kind of freely, do this. So now you have to figure out, what they're gonna go for, when it comes to that situation. Now you also have to keep in mind, even if you flawless block Shao Kahn, um, he can still do that. He can still go for that special move. Um, he can still do that. Does he have the low? He does. So now he can kind of switch it up. But there's like a pretty big gap in there. So like what I'll do is like I'll do that right there. And if you notice, right, when I do this, there's no gap. So if I try to down one him, it wouldn't work. If I try to backdash, it wouldn't work. So hold on. I can't do anything. It turns into like if you don't flawless block. Well, even if you do flawless block, you would more than likely have to up to him to stop him from doing that option. It is possible for him to go for a fatal blow, or you could just block it and then go for whatever punish that you want. So I mean, you do have that option, but for the most part, if he was to try and go for a 50-50, which is a logical thing to do, but he would still have to condition you. You understand what I'm saying? To respect the fact that he could still jail you in this combo string with those two special moves. That's the only way he's going to get the 50-50 out. Other than that, he's kind of fucked. Not unless he leaves the string alone. But you see where I'm going with this, right? So this is how not to be predictable, because when you're doing the same thing over and over again, that goes for like, the neutral game. That also goes for when you're within footsie range. Like say for example, I always go for like Johnny Cage's 4-3-4-4, right? And I'm not learning my lesson from this, right? The problem that I'm gonna face is the fact that like my normal can get stuffed if they're anticipating it. They can go for a faster startup time than my 14 frame 4-3-4-4. The move is a high, and I keep committing into it. So they can punish it. If I'm not willing to adapt and I'm not actually understanding that, okay, about this, and I'm not, changing it up and making it difficult for you to pinpoint when I'm going to do it or how I'm going to do it, then, you already know what the deal is. You finna get your shit folded. So, yeah, that's a big deal. So hopefully you guys learned something in this video. My damn head's hurting talking about this shit, but I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you guys like videos like this, I'll probably do other situations like this as well after I'm done labbing it, because some of this shit I forgot. But certain other characters I didn't. That's the reason why I picked those certain characters. But hopefully you guys learned something in this video. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.